All right, so coming up next, here is how to make a stitch. I'm going to put all of these things back. I already did this Pechaberry, and to do it, you will see in the photo how you have to flip your fabric. So the thing is, you have to sew it good to good, so that way when you flip it, it's going to be the good side that shows, and not if you marked your fabric with a pen like I did. I actually traced my pattern onto the fabric, so if I were to flip this, you would see that there was black marker being hidden on the inside. And also, when you do flip it, you have to sew it not completely closed. You have to leave a little bit of an opening, like right here you can see. This is where I had the opening to flip it. Okay, so you sew all the way around it except for a little bit that gives you enough space to flip it, pull it inside out, and then when you're done, you can do this stitch to finish and close it. Same one for this. That'll be in the photos included on the blog post. Okay, so here we are, our thread from the previous one. This is the shorter one, and I'm just going to be using this piece of fabric as an example. Okay, so let's pretend this is our pattern. You have the good side now touching the good side, and we're going to start. Now, let's do this the best way that you guys can see it. You're going to poke it through, and the knot is going to catch, okay? Do you see how I can't push it through anymore? That's how you know you knotted it enough. If it's pulling all the way through, you didn't knot the knot big enough. You might have to try 3 around the fingers, 1, 2, 3, and then pull it through kind of thing, okay? If you guys are having difficulty, I will make a separate video just to show you how to knot the thread. Okay, so once that's through, what you're gonna have to do is try to do your best, okay, to see where the needle's coming through to make sure it's going to be a nice straight line to the previous stitch. And then you just pull it through. Same thing, right back next to it, so it's nicely aligned, and then you push it through. And then you pull it all the way out, and you see it's going to make a nice clean line. You don't want to go too far with your stitching. The closer you do it, I'm going to say is probably the better. It's just, it takes a while if you do it closer together. Okay, so just back and forth, line it up, pull it through, line it up, pull it through. Take your time. It's going to get frustrating if you're somebody who, like most people nowadays, wants everything done immediately as soon as you think it. It might be frustrating. This is a great process to kind of really get into the understanding of how things are made, how much time goes into making them. So we're not just wanting everything now, that we're looking, okay, somebody made this, they made my shirt, they made my pants, somebody stitched this. They probably didn't stitch it by hand. Probably not. Some things are, but plushies often are. So it's a really great way to kind of gather your appreciation for all the things in your house. Okay, so back and through. Line it up best that you can. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight, but by keeping it straighter, you're going to have a much nicer looking stitch at the end. Try to keep it around the same distance apart. There we go, up and through. And eventually your brain will just know how to do this without even thinking about it. Muscle memory. Practice makes perfect, guys. If you're having struggle, if your thread, if you made it too long, it could be getting tangled. I've had that issue a lot, which has made me very discouraged when I first started sewing. You'd pull it through and it would just tangle, and it would, yeah. So if you're having any of these kinds of problems, please just let me know. I will do a tutorial to show you how to do it. So there you can see our stitch. And to finish up a stitch, okay, pull it through and then loop it. Loop it so it goes through the same hole. You see it makes a little loop, okay. Take the needle, thread it through that loop. There you go. And now you can do this 2-3 times to really make sure it's nicely closed. It's not going to open your stitch. Okay, so that's just one way to do a stitch. You also, if you really are a perfectionist, you can make it so there is no space between these. I love the design of that kind of stitch, so that's my preferred go-to stitch. There are many different kinds of stitches, but this is about this Pascha berry. So again, we stitched our pattern about this distance from the edge on our actual Pecha, and once we got down here, we stopped, we flipped the fabric, we put in our stuffing, and then we stitched it closed. Same for this one. If you look here, we stitched it all the way around except for from here to here, and then we flipped it. Okay, and then we put in a tiny bit of stuffing. You can't put that much stuffing in the stem. And then we stitched this to this. So step 1, step 2, and then stitch them both together to make your Pascha berry. Now, if you'd like, some Pascha berries have spots, so if you can also take a lighter type of fabric and cut out little circles and stick them on. That's an option. And I'll show you guys the process of flipping it here. Give me one moment. Okay, here we go. So you can see it here, it's stitched closed. And if I flip it, I didn't stitch it all the way, but you'll see it creates that, you see? Just like with our Pascha berry. So hopefully this tutorial has been at least a little bit helpful to you. If there's any questions or anything else you guys need to know, please just leave a comment down below and try your best not to pick your finger with your sewing needle. Once you learn how to stitch by hand, that's when I highly recommend, if you want to advance your sewing, you can start to look at sewing machines, which I will also be doing some tutorials on. And yeah, thank you guys for stopping by our channel today. We are sending so much love and wishing you all the best with your creations. Good luck, and we can't wait to see what you make. Bye.